I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Sometimes characters walk. Sometimes they talk.
When I found out the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest anyway.
But occasionally, they do both.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive? Enough!
The walk and talk is a cinema staple, giving a conversation urgency and dynamism.
I gotta get home and see my wife. She's real sick.
This is the ultimate guide to the walk and talk. Before we start chatting, subscribe to Studio Binder and enable notifications to stay up to date on all our videos. Today, we'll be joined by cinematographer Bradford Lipson. Let's take a stroll.
You want to take a walk?
What?
A walk. With me.
The walk and talk is when two or more characters have a conversation as they walk. The camera may follow along with them,
How can I get out of here?
You can't.
or be stationary.
3 years in a row.
Cool.
Lipson explains.
That's going to inform us of whether we want to use a Steadicam or a handheld or dolly and move with the actors, rather than like a long lens when the camera's stationary and the actors grow on us.
The maneuver has been used since the early sound days of cinema.
Well, aren't you going to ask me how I found out where you were? Yeah, big scoop with everybody in the county building working for you.
Since then, the walk and talk has taken many forms, ranging in mood and style.
The Council is confident in its decision, Obi-Wan.
The boy has exceptional skills.
But he still has much to learn, Master.
Primarily, the technique is used to give a conversation an energy it wouldn't have if it was stationary.
Okay, we go to the most credible platform to do the story.
What's that, like Oprah?
Yeah, like Oprah, for example.
Let's look at different types of walks and talks.
Can you walk and talk at the same time?
Do my best.
Conversing and ambulating can look different depending on the effect a director wants to achieve.
He's a scholarship boy who buys his clothes from Oxfam.
Harsh. That's so harsh.
A Steadicam walk and talk, for example, gives the camera smooth movement, while also allowing it to make all the necessary maneuvers to follow the characters.
Will that fail, Frau Liebling?
One of them has this.
Not now.
In Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino follows Vincent and Jules on a Steadicam.
Still, I have to say, you play with matches, you get burned.
The smooth motion underscores how at ease the men are. This is just another job to them. The Steadicam also ensures that the camera can navigate the cramped corridors of the apartment building.
He had to expect a reaction.
It was a foot massage. A foot massage is nothing. I give my mother a foot massage.
A handheld walk and talk, meanwhile, can feel much more spontaneous and out of control.
Do your own thing for once, okay? Just have a beer, talk to people.
I don't drink.
A true handheld walk and talk is less common because the camera movement can border on distracting, since the camera operator has to walk as well.
There's a trail on top of this hill, don't worry. It is a trail.
The number of characters is also important. A character may be by themselves talking on the phone.
I like that movie. It was scary.
Or to the camera.
I don't really have too much to say right now. What's that?
Alternatively, a walk and talk may involve a large number of characters, which typically requires staggering them in layers.
Sort of exciting, isn't it? Breaking the rules.
The camera's angle can also affect conversing and strolling. Most walk and talks are shot at eye level,
Well, are we still on for tonight?
but a low angle can emphasize the space around the characters and make them seem much more powerful.
That's the real magic of the movies, and don't let anybody tell you different.
Terry Gilliam makes use of this in Brazil. The lower angle makes the boss more intimidating and creates more headroom where hands and papers are waved to create a hectic atmosphere.
Here we are.
Most of the time, these shots are taken while leading the characters. This keeps each character facing the camera and the conversation more casual.
I have traced the rebels' spies to her. Now she is my only link to finding their secret base.
She'll die before she'll tell you anything.
Leave that to me.
But a filmmaker may also choose to cover a chat and stroll from behind. This typically is to draw attention to where the characters are headed, and should only be employed if characters' expressions aren't important to what they're saying.
This must have been a ballroom or something.
A walk and talk can also be captured from the side. As Gary hits on Elena, the profile staging keeps our focus on her reactions, but then it cuts across the line to favor him as he finally gets her attention. The conversation has shifted emotionally and visually.
Did you see Under One Roof?
Yeah?
You're looking at Tony.
There's like a million kids in that movie. I don't know a Tony.
Other moving conversations may be covered from both sides in order to give an editor flexibility.
I was mesmerized by you and Baxter took advantage.
So you were mesmerized no more?
I am still mesmerized.
I've been a whore, you understand.
The sequence can then be cut as though the characters are seated.
It is your body, Bella Baxter. Yours to give freely.
I generally charged 30 francs.
Well, that seems low.
Distance, too, is a consideration. A walk and talk may be covered a long way off, typically to situate characters in their setting. Or it can be shot tighter to emphasize actors' performances.
Have we seriously never been there together?
No.
As Bradford Lipson notes, distance can also affect the lens choice a DP will make.
A longer lens from a distance would work well for maybe either it's an exposition type of scene or a romantic scene where if you were on a nice long lens, you could create some beautiful bouquet in the background.
And how do you feel?
I just miss her.
Are we there yet?
Arguably, the most important elements of the walk and talk are blocking and staging.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Who, come to think of it, at this moment, is you.
A good walk and talk typically requires a lot of planning. By definition, there are multiple moving parts, namely the characters and the camera.
When I said that, I didn't...
Don't worry about it.
How these parts move in relation to each other can make a walk and talk even more dynamic.
This is our gold ballroom.
I'll say.
This sequence from Birdman begins with conventional walk and talk coverage as the camera tracks backwards. The camera is then motivated by sound to pan left, and it continues panning to now track the characters from behind. This allows for Mike to turn to Riggin, punctuating an emotional beat.
Off back to your studio, pals, and dive back into that cultural genocide you guys are perpetrating.
Good staging doesn't necessarily mean complicated staging. This shot from Annie Hall begins as a stationary wide shot, establishing the location. As the characters get closer to the camera, however, it begins to move with them. Woody Allen therefore gets both a wide shot and a medium punch-in with one take.
Forget it, Max.
We moved to sunny L.A. All of show business is out there, Max.
In this shot from Midnight Cowboy, the camera starts on a close-up of a couple getting into a carriage, and dollies and zooms out to catch Ratso and Joe mid-stride.
Hey, Horse, how about you take me to meet this Mr. Diddlebird right now? What do you say? What do you say about that?
Well, Joe, you're a nice guy, and actually I'd be doing Bodie as a favor, but for what?
Of course, staging can also be affected by practical concerns, such as lighting, as Lipson explains.
I think if it's a daytime scene, I would consider the position of the sun in relationship to the actors, of course. With night work, you can find ways to make it really interesting, whether that's hiding lights in certain doorways or through windows of shops or whatever it might be. You might also have a big light on a condor to help edge them and make the city street look prettier, do a wet down, that type of thing. Just depends how you want to tackle it.
Reporting live from Woodsburn Police Station, where we hope to get a glimpse of Sidney Prescott.
A walk and talk's blocking can signal conversational shifts. In this scene from Before Sunrise, the characters amble forward with the camera, and their conversation is lighter and more casual.
Loving someone and being loved means so much to me.
They then sit, and the subject gets much more personal and intense. This simple blocking choice underscores a change in tone and allows Richard Linklater to more easily cut to over-the-shoulder close-ups, which more intimately capture the character's emotions.
I had worked for this older man, and once he told me that he had spent all of his life thinking about his career and his work, and he was 52, and it suddenly struck him that he had never really given anything of himself, his life was for no one and nothing. He was almost crying saying that.
Just as walk and talks can take many forms, they can also serve many purposes. Let's look at the functions of a walk and talk.
It's pretty strange that we keep running into each other.
It is strange.
Why all the walking and talking? The most obvious reason to use the technique is to get characters from one location to another. This walk and talk in The Peacemaker allows Dr. Kelly to get in a last word before DeVoe boards a helicopter.
My personal agenda is my business. Now, you are not in Washington anymore. You are in the real world. And in the real world, there are nuclear arms heading for Iran. So whether you agree with me or not, get me off the ride!
Often, having characters move can be helpful when their conversations are mainly expository. In other words, there may not be much drama in what the characters are saying, so a director will keep an audience entertained visually.
All we gotta do is show a little class, a little sophistication, and we're in like a dirty shirt.
This can often be seen in medical TV shows, when characters need to explain an illness or treatment.
What's the first thing we put him on? Steroids for the pneumonia. We'll put him back on them. Give him 24 hours, see what happens.
A walk and talk can also create a feeling of urgency in a scene. This is a preferred method of Aaron Sorkin, famous for the use of this technique. In Sorkin's The West Wing, having characters walk quickly while conversing emphasizes how fast-paced their work is, and how they are often forced to react to situations on the fly.
Toby!
Sir,
What'd you think?
I thought my work was outstanding, Mr. President.
I thought you would.
Having characters walk through a space is also a great way to establish a location. In this shot from The Wolf of Wall Street, we see the exorbitant chaos that Belfort has created, all while he is being interviewed by a journalist.
How do you see the future for Stratton Oakmont?
One word? Diversification.
In 1917, meanwhile, the characters walk us through the geography of the setting, from the camp
You get anything? No.
to the trenches.
So what's on the cards then, Sergeant? Hunter up to something. Any idea what? No. But it's about to ruin our weekend.
The walk and talk is much more than characters conversing while they get from point A to point B.
You survived this long, I suppose, because of your ability to change sides.
The technique can fuse memorable exchanges with dynamic imagery.
Are you carrying me? No, I'm saving you from the cops.
It may require some more planning, but when done well, the walk and talk can walk laps around a sedentary discussion.
Can we walk and talk?
Yes, sure.
Start planning your walk and talk with Studio Binder. As you storyboard, tag shots directly from your script to pair the dialogue with dynamic blocking and staging. And check out the Studio Binder Academy channel for in-depth interviews with filmmakers as well as step-by-step tutorials. That's all for now. Walk on.